Task Force Podcast, an airsoft podcast made by the airsofters for the airsofters.
What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode Task Force Podcast. I am your host, Snake, joined by my co-host,
Nasty. It's always awkward.
Always. And today we are joined by a very special guest, the guys of Mudcrab, Milsim. We've only got one of them on here right now. The other one will be joining shortly, though. So that means we get to talk all about you while we're waiting on him.
Word.
So let's do that. Like, what got you personally started with airsoft before we jump into Mudcrab? Because I feel like that's important to know, right?
Yeah, for sure. So don't haze me, but originally I was a paintball guy, I grew up playing out at the big Oklahoma D-Day event that they would host out there at D-Day Adventure Park, and I played back in the days where they had 2,000, 3,000 players.
Jesus.
Week-long Normandy invasion kind of reenactment. And it just absolutely got me hooked on combat sports. And so from there, I kind of, branched out into, more tactical experiences and other paintball scenarios too. But, once I found out about AMS and like what they do at D-Day, I was just kind of like hooked on, what airsoft has to offer in that regard.
Right.
So beyond that, playing the D-Day game for years, kind of switching over to more airsoft oriented stuff. Some buddies and I got together and started Wargame Oklahoma originally, even before Mudcrab. Wargame was actually like, we did it as a contractor or as contractors for the D-Day park. Right. So when we wanted to start our own Milsim game, partly because we wanted to capture kind of some of the experiences that we had at the big D-Day paintball event, but we wanted to kind of execute it a little bit better and a little bit more for like realism's sake, and a little bit more of the tactical side of it. So we decided, let's basically do the big D-Day game, but let's do it for airsoft. And so so that's kind of the history of how I got into it originally, and that was years and years and years ago.
Right.
And it's worked out since.
Yeah.
At least I think so.
Yeah, I mean, like, we have been to war games, and it's quite a bit of fun. Like, I would say you guys have kept a really good, happy, like, balance, right? Where it's like a serious, like, you want to really get into it and kind of start role playing, you know what I mean? And you want to be a part of it, and you want to create that tactical sense that you're talking about. And then, but you guys also know when to like pause it, right? But still keep the game fun. Like last year we did at War Games, you guys had like the special objects for each team.
Yeah, shenanigans, right? Points.
Yeah, shenanigans was
right?
awesome, dude.
That to me was super cool, because what you had dudes who necessarily didn't want to stop playing, be able to continue playing, but with Nerf and just like around the camps and trying to get that special object to somehow steal it from. Like,
shout out Bob.
Retarded plans.
Shout out Bob and the amazingness that happened to get him.
Right. Like just a bunch of like random craziness that to me brought a different aspect to airsoft milsims as a whole, right? Like, because normally when you're done, like, you don't really kind of converse with your team outside the dudes that you normally show up with, right? You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of, everybody kind of segues back to the camp into their own little groups, and they kind of go from there. But really, this kind of kept everybody intermingled and kept them playing off the field together, which to me, I thought was really fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed that aspect. So that's actually something we learned from the paintball sphere. So the thing that kept me coming back to the big Oklahoma D-Day paintball game was the camp life, the shenanigans. So the way D-Day worked is you divided all your players into divisions. They did like a miniaturized corps level thing because it was D-Day. So you had like the first ID and the 82nd Airborne, and everyone could kind of, and all the officers were like 2-star generals, not like, but all the units had these like traditions and these like we called them fuck games. I don't know if I can cuss on that.
Right.
But,
No, that's fine.
Yeah, 100%.
but we called them
anything you
fuck
want.
games. And so the units would just elect mascots, and we would launch like lightsaber raids across the ravine into the other units' camp and like steal like their rugby ball or their blow up doll and bring them back and send them like a hostage video and say like bring us a 6-pack of beer or Bob gets it. And so it's that kind of stuff that we wanted to bring to Airsoft because we noticed that some people like we like the term serious fun, right? But some people kind of lose track of the second part sometimes when they just get a little bit too into the seriousness of the experience, and they kind of forget like, hey, this is a game, and we're all fake army people in a fake war shooting little bits of plastic, right? Like, don't take yourself too seriously. Like, of course, have fun and immerse yourself in the experience. And maneuvers is a big thing that we like. We like the strategy. We like to see formations of people moving around in groups and like planning assaults and defenses and things like that. That's the big thing that we try to to emulate. But when it comes off the field, we wanted to bring everybody together and to bestow some of that, fuckery amongst our player base, because we saw how much it did to increase the enjoyment for everybody at the big paintball game. So yeah, wanted to bring that in. I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed it so much because that was the goal.
It was, dude. It was a whole new level. So normally it would be you get back to camp. Right. Start the grill, you talk, you debate when you're going to go to bed. But when you see like 4 dudes in short shorts, shirtless, running by with a fucking mannequin looking thing and 6 Nerf guns, like, yeah, we did it. And I'm like, what the fuck did you do?
You're super interested now. And even the people who necessarily wouldn't are now that much more intrigued and want to get into it. And it almost is like a great team building exercise.
Yes.
Yeah, we wanted camaraderie. Camaraderie was the goal, right? So, and the shenanigans for this next war game, we've evolved some of the things that we're kind of doing with it. And so this year you're going to see the implementation of the shenanigans police. So we've got shore patrol helmets, like white like M1 helmets with SP spray painted on the fronts of them, and they're going to be staff members who patrol the camp. And their primary function is to just converse with the players and see like, hey, is everyone doing good? Is there anything that you need? But also they are adjudicators of all things shenanigans. So if there is like an ROE discrepancy, like somebody, locked away a sensitive item, or, somebody got like too physical, or, there's something that went a little too far. Well, the shenanigans police are there on call to kind of resolve those issues and, come into a situation and be like, okay, I understand both parties did something a little fucky. So how we're going to solve the situation is a hot dog eating contest. Sound fair? Cool. Let's do it.
Dude.
And they'll facilitate that. So we're also going to do shenanigans officers for each side. So you'll have like basically an HR person for shenanigans.
So someone to report to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
So that person.
That's
yeah, exactly.
sick.
And there's a French word that I can't remember, but it basically means the history of the unit. And so that shenanigans officer is responsible for keeping the history of the unit throughout the duration of the event, and moving forward. Keep a bit of a ledger and keep track of all the funny, hilarious, or respectable things that their troops did during the course of the event, so that they can bring them to the shenanigans police commissioner, and that's how we'll get it parsed to admin, so that we can give out shenanigans points and do the full debriefing and AAR.
That is fucking sick.
Right.
So on top of all of this, you still have your normal night games, right? For the guys who want, use your $5,000 nods and all that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But also there's the rave at the night game too. So those people who don't have nods that just keep getting smoked can calm down with some K-pop in the church before going to respawn.
Dude, I'm hyped. Like, we got to make this next one. Like, I'm hyped now.
We're just going to go to the church with just a pistol.
Yeah, dude, just to get hype as fuck. That'd be wild. Because the nights, like we talk about all the time, the nights at a Milsim is more important. most important to me. Right. So when you have shenanigans, you got the guys out there you can hear yelling and screaming, playing, having fun. Now there's going to be a rave in the fucking church, which I'm hard in for.
Right.
So like, dude, that's going to bring a whole new level of holy shit, this was a fucking sick event.
Right. Because, dude, last year, I think last year, I think we talked about on the way home was like we had the most fun we had at Airsoft in a really long time, just going out there and bullshitting and playing, and then like having that serious aspect to it, but then just the shenanigans, randomness, and the Twinkie eating contest was hilarious.
Oh yeah,
just the whole thing, man. It was all really good.
I gotta say, War Games was probably top of my list of most enjoyable events. See, when I go to an event, I don't expect much. It's the same thing. Red versus blue fight at night. That's why we glamp now.
Right.
Is to keep ourselves entertained. But War Games was a whole new fuck. Right? It was good. It was new. It was fresh.
Right.
I needed that in my life.
Right.
So therefore, I will forever try to make
War Games.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. I hope I see you guys out there, for years and years to come. Because, what we're trying to do is we are really trying to build like a legacy. So, the D-Day owner, he's done organizing events in house. So, like,
right,
Oklahoma D-Day is gone. So, like, as far as the paintball event, the field is still there, right? And Isaac is actually the facility director now. Not only is he a partner owner in Mudcrab, but he's basically the person that Dwayne has handed the keys to the kingdom to. I'm his assistant combat secretary guy who helps him herds the cats. But with D-Day gone, Wargame is kind of the apparatus that at least I'm trying to put my heart and soul into to keep those traditions and those things that I found most enjoyable as a player coming out to D-Day year after year alive, and presenting that to a new generation and bringing that to Airsoft and letting them enjoy the facility as much as, I have over the years.
And that'll happen, right? But change is needed.
Right.
I'm sick of going to this Milsim or this Milsim and this Milsim. God, it's always the same fucking thing, dude.
Right.
But I can always guarantee going to a Mudcrab game, there's going to be a positive change. There's going to be something going on at night, not me just sitting here having to talk to you all night,
right?
And I'm excited about that. And so you said he's made his peace. He's ready to move on. So that means no more paintball at D-Day?
So, again, don't haze me, but so Mudcrab is also picking up the paintball torch in that regard too. So we're also our kind of our business strategy for this this season is we do 2 large airsoft games and 2 large paintball games a year, and then throughout the year Isaac primarily runs open plays on the first Saturday of every month, and so that's kind of how we do our sort of 9 to 5. And so Isaac also brings in other promoters and other events like to the D-Day park, like there's a Wasteland festival that comes out and things like that. So the owner is done organizing paintball games in-house, and has again like kind of passed that torch on to us too. So we'll be doing Mudcrab branded paintball games as well. We actually have one coming up next month called Pandemonium. But I'm sure you guys don't want to hear about that on.
No, speak it, dude. There's somebody I know a couple guys that play paintball that play airsoft.
There's plenty of guys who go back and forth in between. And if anybody's wondering, the pictures I'm showing you on this is actually D-Day Field, which if you guys have never been there,
it's neat. It's to go there at least once, right? Yes. D-Day, granted, it's only a 3-hour drive for us,
right?
But still one of the most iconic for me in my head places to go. I will forever go to D-Day Adventure Park.
Yes.
I would that over Copperhead, that over AMS, that over anything for me.
Right. It is its own unique field, and like you can't discount it either, because everybody who's not from the Midwest thinks like of Kansas and Oklahoma as being like flat states.
Dude, fuck.
I really hate to tell you, but the moment you get to Oklahoma at D-Day and you think that Miami, Like, and yes, it's spelled Miami, but it's Miami to them.
You'll get yelled at. Trust me.
Yep.
Like you go there and you're gonna think it's flat, and you're gonna be dead fucking wrong because there's gonna be just so many hills that you're at the bottom of like shit, and it's like 98 fucking degrees and like 75% humidity, and you kind of just want to off yourself. But that's what makes the field so cool.
Yeah. I watched a guy walk off a cliff once.
Right.
And that was years ago. It was great. He had a bad time. I thought it was cool. But like it's something that needs to be done once at least. Right. So especially with Mudcrab and what they do, I think what they do is awesome.
Right.
I'm excited. So next big airsoft event, when?
So Krabistan. So Krabistan is in May, and this is our it's May 20th weekend. So, and this is our attempt at a Wargame Oklahoma is your kind of like everyone can access it. It's got a lunch break. It's the Wargame Oklahoma is the one that you can bring the whole family to, right?
Right.
Krabistan is our take at a nonstop 48-hour immersion experience. And it's going to be a little smaller of a game, but it's 3 factions, and it's Milsim West style. In that, it's very role play oriented, and, you've got, the premise of the game is this fictional country of Krabistan has just been devastated by an earthquake, and the Soviet Union, who shares a border, has decided to invade to maintain stability in the region, right? And we started this before the events in Ukraine.
Russia.
Yeah.
Right. So you're the Ukraine.
Yeah, it's ironically very similar, though we had the concept down like literally 2 years before all this stuff was happening. But yeah, so the Soviets invade, and the local population, they basically get to decide for themselves whether they want to be insurgents or not.
Right.
But we've got villages and village elders, and the Soviets camp out of a fire base at Old Pond right in the center of the field. And then you've got the Green Berets, which are, Western Special Forces, who they're patrol camping the whole weekend. So like they're escape and evasion nonstop. They're in country to make contact with insurgents and support them through, arms smuggling and all kinds of stuff like that. And try to repel, the Soviet occupiers. And so, yeah, it's a really dynamic game that we've had planned for a while, but we just haven't, been able to pull the trigger on it. And so, this year we're going to try to make it happen, and we're super excited.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
It does.
That sounds like a 40-hour event that I could be at.
Yeah. So your 2 main factions are Russia and then the country that's invaded.
Right. So it's
and then the Green Berets are basically your kind of third smaller faction, right?
Right. Yeah. So basically, the 3 factions, you got your Krabistani locals. So that's the largest faction, and it's the most chill, and it has the least amount of restrictions. So you sign up to be a Krabistani local, you can glamp. Your uniform is, you pretty much, there's no real restrictions on your uniform other than it has to be non-matching. Like you can't wear a full set of camis. You got to have to mismatch them and wear something civilian on it. It's also, we're trying to encourage retro kits. So we're kind of weird. But for this one, no camo patterns after 2001 are allowed. So we're trying to get people to bring out, M81 Woodland and, all the old school, SF camos that, everyone nowadays wears the same stuff. They all wear multicam,
Facts.
Yeah, that's it. And, we wanted to kind of shake it up a little bit. Your equipment can still be multicam for this one. We know it's a lot easier to buy a new set of BDUs than it is to buy, the plate carrier you really, really like. So for this one, we're going to be a little lax as far as equipment goes, but your base uniform has to be pre-2001 camos of some kind.
So it keeps the originality of, I had to find this camo to have camo type thing.
Yeah. And also the bunker army surplus is right there. So like, a pair of Woodland BDUs is like $20, and we have them on site. So if someone arrives and, needs that kind of stuff, but yeah, so the locals are that big kind of group, and there's not everyone's necessarily in combat role in there. Like we've got some players who are coming out, like one dude just wants to put up a ramen shop. So he's going to bring a 10 by 10 and a propane stove and a bunch of ramen. And that's what he's going to do. That's what he wants to do all weekend, is make ramen for people.
That's badass.
Yeah. But then amongst the population, we've got agitators who are, trying to, get all the insurgents together to strike against the Soviets. Right. The Soviets they have a little bit more restrictions. So, they have to wear a certain spread of camos, either actual Soviet camo or they're wearing tan. It's a very Soviet Afghan inspired. And so they're about a platoon sized element. We're shooting for about 30 players, 30, 35, and they camp out of Old Pond. They military style camp. They can either bivvy, they can use a pup tent, but we also have a like a barracks tent that it also doubles as the mess for them. So if they have cots and they can put up a cot in there and kind of sleep in the barracks. And so they're doing hearts and minds stuff, right? So their prerogative is to go out and talk to the village elders and, sit down and smoke the hookah and eat pita bread with some
Dude,
guy with a beard
in,
talk about the problems that the villages are having and actually come up with like real ways to sway them, not just like, okay, you've completed the mission, now you get the point. No, it's like these people have problems, you got to talk to them and help them solve them if you want them to like you.
I don't know, man. Being a village elder would be kind of fun, just to fuck with
Bro,
people.
I'm trying to show up. I'll buy a ticket just to be there. Not even have to play. Not even like that would be an insane sight to see.
So as outsiders, the Soviets don't necessarily know the Krabistani customs. So in the mission orders for like go talk to the village leader and like discuss the problems, we tell them to like observe any customs that you see them doing. So that means that the village elder gets to do like, you come into the tent, right, and the village elder takes off one shoe and puts it on his head. The Soviets are like, okay, do we do that too? What
the fuck is that, dude? Do we do that?
Yeah, it's like I don't want to insult this guy, but and so it's little stuff like that too that we're trying to build, kind of like, we're gonna let the players sort of build like a culture, that
sure. That's wild, dude. That would be fucking sick, man.
I think it's gonna be fun
because that's something you remember. Because come next year, let's say you have like the same kind of buildup, but everything's different.
Right.
But you'll remember the dude puts a shoe on his head.
Right.
So the next time you come back to Krabistan, you're like, put shoe on head when you walk in. And then the dude's going to look at you like, you're fucking retarded. We take half our shirt off now. Okay. Why didn't you do your fucking research, right?
Yeah, you're
like,
gonna have those guys who are like, I'm a 3-year Krabistani veteran. Like, I've been here. You guys just gotta have your leopard print thong. You gotta have your burqa. And you got to have your one shoe on your head,
Dude, that brings something you'll never find anywhere else.
Anytime you walk through this door, you have to eat a whole packet of ketchup.
Or it's like it's seen as an insult if you don't.
Yeah.
Just like you have to down this whole packet of ketchup.
Or be like, here's mustard because fuck mustard. So you have to eat this. Dude, but allowing character building will bring that person back every year.
Yeah.
Every time. And they, dude, I don't know. So you kind of got a radio or
like a radio silence.
Vibe, right? But you're bringing it to like
mixing it with the Milsim.
Yeah, dude, and it's sick. I think that's awesome. I would have an amazing time. Me as a 40-hour person, don't vibe. Me 40-hour games, but me as a part of the show for others for 40 hours. Yeah, I'm down.
Right.
I'm down, 100% down.
That would be fun. That would be fun to go and be like one of the
town idiot. I'd be in.
Be an insurgent where you're like, oh no, I'm the town chief and this is what we do, and then just like go shoot at them randomly and then just hide your shit and be like, I don't know,
dude. I shot 3 of your guys yesterday, but it wasn't me. Yeah.
That's 100% like what we're shooting for. And the third faction who's going to kind of help facilitate that sort of stuff, those are the Green Berets. So it's like a 15 to 20 man element. That is, they don't have a fire base. They're strictly like escape and evasion nonstop. Like we did tiers of suck is what we call it. So the least suck is the Krabistani locals because they can glamp, right? The mid-tier suck are the Soviets because they're military style camping, but at least they've got a fire base that they can put a cot in. But the Green Berets, those are your hardcore overland patrol types who are really into that kind of experience. And so, they're coming into country to make contact with the insurgents and the agitators and to give them, all the ammo is provided. So we've got like an economy system. So they'll have like munitions and arms to provide them. We're not doing like a raffle. We're getting giveaway items that will distribute through the game. So like they'll literally have a crate of Enola Gays that they bring to, you know, the insurgent leader, and you just distribute them amongst the insurgents there. And like now you've got Enola Gays. Have fun. Like you didn't have to pay for them. That's just part of the experience.
Hell yeah.
And so yeah, they're doing that. And the economy, there's also kind of a drug. There's a drug mini game too. So we got Krabistani currency, but we've also got beans. So we were gonna do like powder, but we figured that was gonna be a little bit too messy. But in real life, Afghanistan's primary export, like the Taliban, fueled their resistance efforts against the West by exporting opium. So we're like poppy seeds, you know, Coke, that's kind of, you know, too on the nose. What can we do that's going to be fun, but it's still going to be something that people can smuggle around? So we decided beans, like dried beans.
Yeah, dude.
Like bricks, kilos, dime bags of dried beans. And those are...
I don't know anything about that. Yeah, let me not be your drug lord. Yeah, let me.
And so we've got search consent rules. So, you know, you can't hide the beans like in your private bits, right? But anywhere else is fair game. And so when you go through a checkpoint, if the Soviets don't pat you down and don't do their job and you manage to smuggle the beans through, like you're good. Like that's the game. Like that's part of the game. And same with vehicles. So we'll have ambient vehicles driving around, which also vehicle rule is no vehicles post 2001 are allowed in the experience. So we're bringing in like 1980s and 1990s like Chevy Bronco and cargo van, or Ford Bronco and Chevy cargo vans and stuff like that. And they'll be doing like ambient, like take this crate of bananas from this village to this village, and nothing funny, no funny business, like actually no funny business. So they go through the checkpoint, you know, but the next time they come through, the driver might have been paid off and there's a fucking brick of beans taped to the bottom of the wheel well.
Right.
You know? And if they don't search the vehicle for it and it makes it through, like it made it through. Like that's the game.
And all this relies off the player, right? Or the people. So we have to build that immersion, right? Like this isn't a part of the rule set. So I know homie across the line wants this. He's done paid me, so now I got to figure out how to smuggle my beans into that area.
It's a sandbox.
Yes, dude, that is fucking cool.
Yeah, when you kind of allow your players to build their
own game.
Yeah,
their
own world.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you allow the players to build their own world, but give it some guideline, like that is to me when it's the easiest to get into the LARPing aspect of it, right? Because you have to really look at Airsoft like in the real light that it is, that you are a LARPer. Those people who dress up as medieval dudes and have sword fight, you are them, but with modern stuff. Like, it's fine. Don't be like, oh God, it's not a big deal. Like, and so it shouldn't be a big deal when you approach your gameplay, and you should want to do it because it just makes it more fun.
Right.
Like, if you really can actually commit to the LARPing aspect of it, and allow yourself to get immersed into the game, like, dude, you'd be surprised how much more fun you have, and how much more you realize at the end of the weekend how much of an escape you really had.
Yes,
from
being
your
the
real
nerd
life.
you are.
Right.
Yes, dude, I'm in. So how much are tickets?
Right.
So we do some tiered tickets for Krabistan. So the local ticket is cheapest. I think it's about $80, $85. And then it kind of steps up from there. But I don't think we have a ticket that's more expensive than 115. Let me make sure. Let me look at our ticket bud. No, yeah.
Dude.
So Green Beret ticket's 100, and the locals are 85, and the Soviets are 95. So we tiered the
What? That's cheap.
That
is cheap.
Yeah,
that's cheap to have a fucking bomb ass time smuggling beans while being raided by Green Berets while shooting at the Soviets and be like, nah, dude, I didn't shoot you last night. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
like this is gonna be sick, dude.
And we
chose a 40-hour.
We chose that low price point because, like, this is our first kind of, you know, attempt at this. You know, we're not Milsim West. We don't have Milsim West money. Like, you know, like we didn't want to like
They
overcharge.
don't even have Milsim West money, so it's okay. Trust me.
Yeah, we didn't want to overcharge and underdeliver. You know, we wanted to really get, you know, our foundation, you know, there. And we've always also taken pride in being the more affordable game out at the D-Day park, and so we kind of wanted to keep that. And so yeah, we want to make it accessible, and we might even open up another ticket for we call it like a commuter ticket. So it's just for the civilians, and it's a day pass. So it's for people who want to come out and be a member of the civilian population, maybe not necessarily an insurgent, because you'll want to stay the whole weekend for that and strike the Soviets at like 2 a.m.
Right.
But if they want to just come in and be a role player, and be a LARPer and just add to the population of the country during the day, then we're going to open up like a cheaper ticket for that. But
that's me.
Yeah.
I need 2 tickets, please, because I want. Not a matter of fact, I know you said like a cheaper ticket for like the day, but I would pay a premium for all weekend and maybe just be like a body during the day and still get my Milsim experience, but be able to keep my nights to like.
Well,
I'm
that's
not
what I was thinking too. Is like also like what's cool about that is you could also do like wives who want to go or stuff like that.
Yeah,
because there's always people who are generally traveling with them that don't play. I noticed that a lot at Southern Front too. There was a bunch of people who were with them but not necessarily playing, and this would give them kind of a cool chance to be a part of it without having to play and without having to have all the stuff.
The rule set, the camo, the guns, like they just get to be a body invested in the whole organism that this is going to be. And I'm in for that. I think that should be an option because it gives the parents, right? A chance to walk the field, walk the map, get a layout. So when their kids like, oh my God, the church, the firepower, they can now picture the church. They got to buy noodles from dude at church, like it. I think that would be a good option. I think that'd be a positive option for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys. I'm glad you guys think so. I think we're going to definitely pull the trigger on that because what you just said, like the other people that come, War Game is like the one that you can bring your family to. But even at War Game, because it's just a strict Milsim, it's force on force exercise. They don't have anything to do, right? So yeah, what you said is that is the goal. My mom is actually cooking kebabs. She's going to be on site making kebabs and with a cooler. And she's there also to kind of feed admin too. But, if there's players that, want to buy a kebab with some Krabistani coins, or, she may or may not be affiliated with the bean smuggling economy too, so she might or may not have a scale on her that will be used for certain nefarious activities.
That's 6 grams of beans, please. But see, that opens avenues for infinite amount of options for gameplay in the future.
Yeah,
because they will see what's good, they will see what's bad, they will see what works and what doesn't, and then it just is evolution, is nothing but progression. And those are the type of events I personally would make sure I make every year. I don't give a fuck about any other event. But if I can have a genuine fucking good time and be a Green Beret, be the hard guy who has to piss and shit against a tree and sleep on that same tree, but on the other side, for 2 hours and then go get hammered, that's the experience you can have. And you can have all the experience all the time, every other year.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm pretty much in. This needs to happen.
Yeah.
So
you said Krabistan's in May.
Yes, May 20th weekend.
So are there tickets live?
Yes, sir.
So go buy your fucking tickets. So because I'm gonna have to look into this now. I see the thing for me in 40 hours is constant combat's fun, but your boy gets tired.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work for you guys? So are the Green Berets, the few that are going to be able to buy a ticket, are your rules like strict for them? Like you're going to be treated like a Green Beret?
Yes, it's pretty strict for them, but we do have, so we've got NPCs, right? So we've got like basically a cadre staff that are embedded with them that make sure that everything's groovy and give them things to do if they don't have their own direction. But also the player commanders that we've selected are the guys that are really into those kinds of experiences and who are invested in like not only like making sure all their guys are good to go and squared away and enjoying themselves in this kind of gameplay, but also like if there's newer people that are wanting to get into this kind of overland style like Milsim experience, like this is also kind of an experience that we're putting together to make sure that like if you want to get your feet wet and not go, full Milsim West, like this is, a good opportunity. It's still pretty close to that level of, expectation. But like we understand at the end of the day, it's just a game. So like off the field, we've got a kind of a safe zone for if shit hits the fan and a Green Beret player is like, okay, I can't do this. This was more than I bargained for. They can come off the field and, get squared away with admin and get, reintroduced into like the civilian population. But a lot of that stuff will be front loaded. Like we get into contact with all the Green Berets beforehand, so that they understand like what they're getting into. And we've got questionnaires that basically say like, have you played airsoft before? Because if you haven't, and you're signing up for this ticket, you're not going to have a great time, and
but
they're going to just move you.
But that's needed,
right?
Yeah, for their safety.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want you to come to one of our events,
right?
And I'm gonna be a Green Beret, Mom. Watch me,
right?
And then you're dead from heat exhaustion 3 hours into the game. Right. We don't need that.
That's that right there. Like I was saying, you cannot underestimate D-Day for the field that it is. Like if you're coming from the outside and you think, oh, it's gonna be nothing, I promise you, it's fucking something.
It is. It's amazing.
It's a lot of ball sweat and a lot of pain, but it is so good.
Yes.
I love
big rocks,
D-Day.
lots of walking.
It really does. Yes, big rocks, lots of walking, and hills.
And if
there
you have
most
bad
definitely
knees,
hills.
and if you have bad knees like I do, wear knee pads, because everywhere you kneel, there will be a pointed rock for some reason, and you will catch it in the knee. So
this is true facts.
I'm gonna ban pointed rocks somehow. So
I'm on the Mudcrab Milsim website, and of course you guys have got the Kravistan stuff on here. So for everybody who's been watching, this is what I've been scrolling through. This is Mudcrab Milsim's website. If
I
you
like
want
the
to pick
website.
up, yeah, I do too. It's very clean. If you want to pick up tickets to go to Kravistan May 20th through the 22nd, you can go to mudcrabmilsim.com, which we've been showing it on the screen this whole time. Underneath their names, so just look at their logo and feel free to go look it up. Come here, you can buy tickets, everything through here. You can also read about all their different games. So they've got the war game, which like I said is
awesome.
Something that I would definitely say that if you have not attended a war game and you're local to the Midwest, you definitely need to
even if you're not.
Right, even if you're not and you're willing to travel, like you're on the East Coast, you're on the West Coast, you want to know a game in the Midwest that you can come to that you're guaranteed to have a good time at. You're going to get some trigger time and play some airsoft, but it's also going to be a little bit of a challenge, then I would definitely recommend going to a Mudcrab game, because it's going to be cheap too, so it's going to save you on the flights, and you're going to get the same experience you're getting at a lot of these other games.
So that goes to all the guys I've talked to personally who's like, oh, I've never played a Milsim. I'd love to do a Milsim. I've only played Speedsoft. Well, to be honest, out of personal, like this is a good start. Yeah. You don't have to fly to California if you're in New York, right? You don't have to fly to New York if you're in California. We're right here in the middle. There's nothing wrong with a 12-hour drive, a 24-hour drive. My fault.
Yeah, 24 hours for sure.
Yeah, that's a real drive. Yeah.
Also, there's paintball stuff on here if you really want to know about the paintball stuff.
You have to know about paintball.
Yawn.
Yawn. So what's the future look like then? Right. So if the original reason D-Day had became D-Day is kind of not there anymore, how do you progress what D-Day was built on?
Right. So it dips a little bit back into the paintball tradition. So we saw the success of the War Game Oklahoma format for airsoft, and it was kind of like when Jeff and I first wrote that game, we were like, let's do, like I said, let's do D-Day, but for airsoft and not paintball, and kind of execute it better. Cause there were things about the paintball game, though it was awesome, that as a player, we didn't always vibe with. Dwayne been doing it for 25 years, and toward the end had some serious burnout. And so the paintball game kind of had a bit of a decline toward the end, and we kind of saw that the writing was on the wall.
Right.
So having seen the success of, War Game Oklahoma, we decided that the best way to kind of keep the park up upright is to continue that paintball tradition, because there is a lot of now like homeless paintball players who are looking for something to go to out there now that D-Day is done. So we're doing War Game Weekend. So War Game Oklahoma is the airsoft one. War Game Weekend is the paintball one. And it's essentially the same game, except it's World War II flavors. Like we'll do actually a couple different scenarios for it, but it's pretty much the exact same experience, but for the paintballers. And so that's kind of our flagship paintball game, whereas War Game Oklahoma is our flagship airsoft game. We're kind of keeping it, kind of symmetrical so that, we can just master our craft and provide just an exceptional experience to like both markets. There's, as far as like the field goes, there's a couple phases. And so Isaac says that he's not going to be able to make it on tonight. He's still on his way back from the D-Day field, but basically he's got some big plans for the facility. The first phase is make D-Day safe again. is the first phase of the park improvement plan, which years and years and years of games. There's wear and tear on the facility, and especially with the paintballers, because there's thousands of players on that one. Isaac has made it a goal to improve the facility everywhere he can, and to the goal is not to add any more features in the short term to the playing field, but to improve what is there and to just groom and clean up, the D-Day park, to make it look a little bit more, the first thing that you show up, with the friends and the family, you don't want to see a Jeep Cherokee with no doors that has been rolled 3 times, like sitting in the middle of camp, as oaky as that is, people who are traveling from abroad might not understand and just think that's trashy. So basically trying to give the park a facelift and trying to update it to continue, operations moving forward for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Like I said, Dwayne's pretty much handed us the keys to the kingdom, and specifically has placed a lot of trust in Isaac. And Isaac wants to take this bad boy to the moon. He wants to, he wants to get the park back to a level of, maintenance and professionalism that you saw in like the mid 2000s. That's the mission for the future of D-Day.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
A little bit of, you know what? It never hurts, right? Yeah. A little bit of a facelift.
A little TLC.
And you know what? And if that comes first, to all you fuck boys out there that want, the fanciness out on the field, well, you're going to have to wait, right? So when was it? Invasion 5. 2010?
Something like
9?
that.
Yeah. So back then, I remember rolling up. And then last year when we rolled up, 2 completely different things. Right. Buildings that were kind of dilapidated and falling apart are now fully fall apart. Right. And you're kind of like, wow.
Right. It's definitely some upkeep that
needs to happen.
Yeah, it's just, time. It's exactly what it is. It's time, it's
I'm not downing it.
Everything. But you have to take the time and focus on those to kind of revamp them and bring that feeling of what D-Day was. Right. Because I don't think you're gonna find anything with as much cool shit on it really anywhere else here in the Midwest, because really, well, outside of D14, that's down south in Texas, which it was really cool.
I was happy with D14.
But I know the bones of D-Day has everything that D14 has, and that's
plus some.
Right. That's what's crazy about it. Is I would love to see D-Day revamped, like you guys are talking about, and brought back to life with everything that it should have.
Yes.
And then from there you can start working on structuring the game, and from there will come your income, and from the income you can make the improvements to grow what D-Day is, which
and take it in a new route. Right? Because we have one guy who's like, I'm giving up the throne.
Right.
But when you change kings, things change.
Right.
Yeah.
Forever. And that's how it works. So as long as change stays in the positive,
right,
and you're not changing it for what you want compared to what your people want.
Right.
Now, granted, you'd be like, oh, I wish we had a new road. Well, you can't just go tear down 1,000 acres of trees just to have a different route.
Right.
But, let's just hope this throne that's being taken is going to go in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen plenty of thrones being taken over, and it just goes
Weird.
Tits up.
weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So I'm excited.
yeah, we're not going to shy away necessarily from like, you know, the reality of it is, you know, in a lot of ways D-Day is quite dilapidated at this point. Like you know, and the reason behind it, like I said, Dwayne's been doing it for 25 years. But you know, there was some serious burnout on the part of the facility operators back the last few years. And that just came partly from the economy. That was one big thing. But also like he was just done. Like he was very out of it, as far as like he was not really invested in the paintball side of it anymore, and he was just ready to wind things down. And so that's why you didn't see a whole lot of investment like, you know, into the property on behalf of like Dwayne, is because, you know, he was getting ready to transition into something new. But now that we're on site and, you know, we operate a business on the property, like you said, all it takes is time. You know, it really all it takes is time.
Right.
And, you know, as we continue to produce these events, if we do them right and they grow and we get, you know, the fan base that will support us, that income will be there to invest in the property and to do all these things that we want. But a lot of the stuff that goes a long way doesn't really even cost us all that much money. You know, we've been spending weekend after weekend after weekend out there just hauling a trailer around and picking up bits of styrofoam that serve no purpose, like you know, picking up just debris and trash and things like that, and just cleaning up what is there before we, you know, you can't build something if you don't have the canvas, you know. So phase 1 is to get the canvas, you know, and then phase 2 is to start, you know, building on that.
So another shout out to everybody shout out to the people like you guys that take care of such a massive facility.
Yeah.
In my opinion, massive. I don't know about what you guys would consider it, but people forget. You know, the same humans you see selling the tickets and doing the reffing are the same people that are out here fucking doing what you just said, cleaning up, making things right. So you got to be appreciative that when we say time, it's because it's all manpower time.
Right.
Shit just doesn't come out of a snap of a finger, dude.
Right.
So we also have to remember, shout out to the people that maintain and make shit grow. So shout out to you guys.
The hundreds of acres that you see that have shin-high grass is because some motherfucker has been actually going out there and cutting it every couple months.
Exactly. So much love to the people like you guys, like Mudcrab and people before and people after, and forward to whoever you are. You're the real ones. Yeah. Like, people need to remember that.
Yeah, 100%.
The endless hours these guys put in, their families, you know, and everything. Like, shout out to y'all for sure.
Right. Right, and also shout out to you guys for wanting to take care of it, because you just see the greatness that is D-Day. And like, to me, that is fucking awesome. Like, the fact that you guys had the fun that you had there, and then now you're like, you know, I want to keep this going so that way other people can have this same fun that we had. Like, that to me and to you guys should tell you how much fun that people have really had here at this field, because that right there says it all, in my opinion.
Fun, the memories, we talk about 2000 something all the fucking time. You know why? Because it's made an impression on my life. Not just airsoft life, but my life. So y'all need to check it out at least once, maybe twice, forever. Just buy the tickets.
I really appreciate all those things. Like, that really does. Like, I'm gonna get a little emotional. Like, like it's
real though. Like, I genuinely feel that way.
That's 100%.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
There's no getting around it. I mean, that when you really stop and look at it, that's gotta be the number one thing that you would see out of this, is that you guys really had that much fun, and now are so worried about being able to continue that fun that you're like, you know what, like, let's just start working on it. Let's clean it up. Let's give it a facelift. Let's keep things going and keep the tradition, because the tradition ultimately is where you had your fun. So, like, to me, that's fucking awesome that you guys are carrying that on.
Virtual high five, my mans.
Thank you. Yeah, and I just want to say, you know, like, we're trying our hardest, to do all these things, and no company's perfect, no production's perfect, no game, nobody's perfect, right? But
right, if they say they are, they're fucking lying.
But yeah, right. And so the thing that I want to emphasize, like, not only for like from our side, right? Like Isaac and I are like exactly what you said, invested in, providing those experiences for the future generations to enjoy D-Day, but also like, man, every single person on our staff and in our volunteer brigade, we call them the Mudcrab Brigade, all of those people are just highly motivated to provide the best experience that they can for the people that come out there, because we all have that shared experience. Like every single one of us have the shared experience of the memories that we've made out there, and the life lessons that we've learned, and the people and the friends we've made. We all met there. Like that's the whole reason this entire network of friends exists, is because of the property and because of the games that we attended out there. So it breaks my I'm it's not that I'm sensitive, but you can't always get perfect AAR responses, right? But like when I see that someone came to one of our events and maybe didn't have the best time or as good of a time as they could have, it truly does break my heart. I really truly want everyone to enjoy themselves as much as I did. And the whole staff feels that way.
Right. And to me, it shows you guys,
I agree.
You guys were, it's not like, where your event promoter is fucking gone, right? When it comes time to camp, and they're just, oh, well, and then they roll up in the morning and they're fucking, their fucking fancy ass Tahoe that they've rented or whatever the shit. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are there. You guys were out there walking around, checking in with people at their campsites. Like, yo, you guys having fun? Like, anything you guys need? Like, I thought that right there, was that to me, speaks when you have an event promoter or event host who's actually out there and is camping with you and is I guess I could say roughing it, but not necessarily roughing it sometimes, right? But you're out there and you're actually checking in with people. You're actually making sure that people are having a good time. You're asking for on-site feedback at that time. Like, you're providing a positive customer relationship experience, which is what a lot of people don't think about when it comes to Milsim, right? Like, at the end of the day, I am a customer, I am paying for something, and I would like to have my money's worth, because if not, I can go somewhere else. There is other event promoters.
And that stems to me. So when I'm sitting out there and one of you guys walks up and goes, hey man, how are you doing? For that split second, I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm having a pretty goddamn good time. So you know what, man? I'm doing fucking good.
Right.
And you know what? For that split second, I'm doing good, man. I'm having a good time.
Right.
I got my homies out here. I got, refs or whatever asking me how I'm doing. That's pretty fucking cool. That small moment makes your night great. Makes your next day great. No matter what the fuck, whether it rains, whether a bear comes on site, random shit.
Even if you have a moment too, where you're you walk over there and you say, hey man, how are things going? And the guy gets a chance to be able to bitch to you about some we're airsofters, right? We're bitching about some piddly little bullshit that really doesn't matter. Probably some guy didn't call his hit and I'm butthurt about it, but because you listened to it, and you were like, you know what, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll try to make sure that our refs know, and we'll make sure that type of thing doesn't happen again, right? Like, now you've taken off some of this stress that this guy had about something
dumb
that
shit
doesn't matter.
Yeah, some dumb shit.
But you've given him that positive side of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that to me was something that you guys offered that
I've never seen.
I've not seen really any other Milsim
or local or anybody that gives a fuck about what they're doing. So yeah, you guys set up such a great from drive in to drive out of all weekend. Yes. 99% of the time have zero issues except for my bitch ass self.
Right.
So, and my physical issues. So, so no, I'm not trying to put a gold star on you guys and what you do and what you're about, but you definitely got my okay.
I mean,
I would forever, ever push
Mudcrab
people.
Milsim 4.5 out of 5 stars. No problem with that.
No.
Thanks, guys.
And I only give you 0.5. I only give you 0.5 because there's always room for improvement. I give myself a 0.5.
Yeah,
I am
sure.
0.5.
Like, but no, what I really hope is that people see this. And if you're in the Midwest, if you're down in Texas, if you're
in
New
York,
if you're in New York, I really don't care where you're at. If you want to go and you want to have a fun Milsim experience,
this is it, dude, for sure.
You're worried about your budget, especially right now with the way things are, and it's fucking crazy. Like, I promise you 100% that going to a Mudcrab event is worth it.
Every dime.
If you're into 40 hours and you want to go check that out, like, you can definitely go check out Crabistan. Like I said, it's in May. You need to go to their website and you check it out.
It's right
mudcrabmilsim.com and go there, check it out, give it some thought. And if you want to go check it out and play it someplace that a lot of places haven't been playing at lately, then do it.
Right.
And go out there and
do your research, man.
Us, right?
Right. There's 1.5 billion videos from 2000 till now about the landscape and how D-Day is and everything like that. Do your research, but just know you're guaranteed a good fucking time.
Yeah.
And we've been going to, obviously we live 3 hours away from it.
Right.
But it's, you know what? This whole show was just buy the fucking ticket because it's a good fucking time. 100%. And you can call me if you have a bad time, and I'll bitch at you about it.
You buy the ticket, and then in the notes put "heard about it on Task Force."
Right.
Oh, that'd be spectacular.
So my dude, for I'm not trying to like build your ego, but that's how we feel.
Right.
It's never a failure of a good time.
Well, I'm really glad that you guys feel that way because that's always been the mission from the start. And without that kind of feedback and without that kind of support from the community, it's very easy to lose perspective, as a promoter,
Sure.
You sometimes things that you can kind of focus on are, the things that fell through the cracks or the mistakes that you made, the things,
right.
Things that weren't perfect. Right. And so to hear that and to get, this kind of hype is awesome. And I really appreciate it. And honestly, I really appreciate what you guys do for the community and the atmosphere that you guys create, like not only on your show, but like whenever I'm hanging out with you guys, on site somewhere, like just the chill nature and the good nature of like, you're individuals who are clearly invested in growing the sport of airsoft and, growing it in a way that's positive, in a way that, invites people to come enjoy this thing, that we all geek out about, this tactical Barbie simulator,
Exactly.
Can I be your kin snake? Can I? But no, man, thanks. Like shout out to my mans for showing us some love because it's genuine, dude. Like it's real. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for Oklahoma Invasion 5, my airsoft life would have probably stopped.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the love. We always want to see airsoft grow. Yeah. Matter of fact, I'd love to see certain fields cut off paintball and just no, I'm lying. Paintball's an awesome sport. I'm just tired of my Gucci gear getting paint on it.
Yeah.
That's all. But that's my gripe. But I appreciate that, man. But no, we have to have strive. We have to have the go. We have to have the want from event promoters to even the guys like me who are just the ones who bitch about everything but have the best time.
Right.
Right. And it's not about the event. It's not about the game. It's just, I want to go to sleep. Sorry, it's a 40-hour fuck, Right. So, I don't know, man. The love goes full circle, really. My roots stem to Oklahoma. Yeah. I will forever play Oklahoma. Yeah. I will forever come to D-Day and my AMA, okay? So you should too. No matter what coast you're at. Matter of fact, to the dudes overseas, if you want to come over to America and play an American event, Oklahoma is a good place to start, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Seriously. Shout out to our dudes in the UK.
Yes.
And we can even, so if there's fellas that are coming from abroad, so we can make special arrangements for them. There's a compound. I'm sure everyone's seen it. There's a compound of shipping containers on the property, right? Mm-hmm. And this is kind of our crab headquarters. All of those shipping containers were placed there for the big paintball game by international players who would come from Australia and Great Britain. And, they would come, they've got them converted to sleeping cabins. They got bunk beds, air conditioners, insulation, mini fridge. and they would leave their paintball gear in there year round, and all they would do is fly in, enjoy the event, stay in their shipping container house, and then go home, right? So if there are people who are interested in coming to this facility from Great Britain or Australia or things like that, and they need to pack light, or they're not going to be able to afford a hotel because they spent so much on the plane ticket, like we can make arrangements to make sure that they have somewhere to sleep. We've got the means, we've got the access to those kinds of spaces, and are happy to facilitate those kinds of things if that means that we're going to expand the horizons of the sport to that international kind of community, right? So definitely encourage people to reach out to us if there's ever like a situation like that we can help with.
Well, god damn. See, people, there's even more of a reason to try to hit my mans and his people up.
Right.
And come and play with your boys.
Right.
Dude, okay, so seriously, dude, though, like, non 40 hours event are my jive. But it's the camping. It's the it's the people that you can walk around and talk to. Dude, I still have like 4 hours of video on my phone from the last event we went down there and played with them at War Games.
Yeah.
Of just the most epic shit, right? And I will go back and look at it every once in a while because I'm like, oh, good memories. Yay.
Right.
So
serotonin.
You can always make a good memory and a good time at a Mudcrab game.
Yes.
In Oklahoma at D-Day Park. And if you really need like that much help, my dude, call me. I will happily drive your fucking ass down to Oklahoma.
Right.
And to play one of these events.
Right. I would also say if May is too soon for somebody, because I know we're in March and sometimes takes a lot of planning.
Yes.
We're in March. What is going to be the dates for War Games Oklahoma, or do you have that yet?
Yeah, so for War Game, War Game is going to be same September 4th weekend. That what is it, Memorial Day weekend?
Yes.
Or Labor Day. I can't remember which one.
Yeah,
same weekend as it always is. First weekend of September, you get that extra day off on Monday, so that you can not feel so bad about leaving late on Sunday. If you got work the next day. So pick that weekend specifically because of that. So you can expect the tickets to go up in the next month or so. We like to really solidify our chain of command before we go live with that stuff, because you got to have the pieces in place to make an army move. So that's kind of what to expect with that. So if you just keep your eyes out on the website and on the Facebook page, that's the best place to find information on that.
Okay.
There's
if someone did want to reach out and contact you, where would you direct them to do it through? Would it be through mudcrabmilsim.com, or would you direct them to the Facebook?
Honestly, the Facebook page is probably the quickest, but admin@mudcrabmilsim.com, the Gmail is also shoot us an email. That's also a really good way. But the Facebook, Mudcrab Milsim Facebook page is a good one. And the email is also a good one. We also do we put a Google form on Crabistan for questions, and we're going to start parsing those and putting up an FAQ based off of actual questions that people have been submitting. So if you've got something you want to ask, but you don't want to carry on a conversation, you can submit the question like that and just watch the page for an answer. But yeah, so those are kind of the areas that people can get a hold of us on.
Great.
So buy tickets when they release for September 4th weekend, because we will be there.
Yes.
100%.
100%
a ticket
on our list
sold.
Was War Crabs, or
War
was
Crabs?
Mudcrab.
Wow.
Yeah, was Mudcrabs War Games.
Yes.
That's a good band name, War Crabs.
Yeah, War Crabs.
War Crabs, dude.
Good band name.
Suicide War Crabs. Fucking.
But no, that War Games was on our list at the beginning of the year. We were talking about, okay, what Milsims do we want to hit, trying to plan out, and without a doubt, we were like, well, we know September we're going to War Games. Of course, with Skylar joining the team too.
Shout out Sky Daddy.
Sky Daddy. He had to go.
Right.
All the Wichita peeps here really enjoy War Games too. So.
Yeah, man, much love to Wichita. The Wichita crowd has been coming to War Games since the very first one and have always impressed me just with how just great they are, and how the thing that all Landon and Skylar and all of that gaggle fuck They're just awesome
Yes.
to be around. And they always bring people. They always bring like new people. Like that's the thing. I was like, they're always like recruiting at the edge and like finding players and being like, hey, come to this thing with us. Just come with us. Just fucking come with us. Like, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good time. Just come on. And like, I just respect that because that's what you got to do, you know.
Yeah.
It's the grind. They put on the grind to hold events. It's our job to put on the grind to bring a motherfucker to it.
Right.
So next year he can be like, oh my God, are we going back? And you're like, God damn right. We are going back. So shout out to Mudcrab because we're going to be there guaranteed September.
Yes.
I don't know about the May one.
Krabistan.
I'm not going to see her make promises.
Nasty's like, he said 48 hours and my knees already almost
yes.
crumpled.
Say, man, if you play the local faction, man, you can glamp all weekend and it won't feel much different than what you're used to at war games. You'll just you kind of
sit around and drink.
Yep. What you do in your camp is your own business. So so long as you're not drunk in action, like that's the thing that we police is like we don't want to mix those things. But in the evening, or if we're at like a quote unquote cultural event, it's totally chill. You can enjoy the Krabistan experience however you want. You don't have to walk at all. If you want, you can just hang out in the bazaar and deal beans.
You're talking your boy. You just sold a ticket.
He's gonna be picking a corner in the bazaar, slinging little bags of beans.
Yeah. Hey, bro. Hey, you want this time back, baby? It's that fire.
You know you want these beans.
You want these beans? These are green, not red. So hit your boy up. Can I paint my beans? Can I switch it up and have painted color beans?
I mean, I don't see why not.
So I can bring my own little paintbrush and I'm painting my beans, man. Mine are fire compared to yours, dude. Yeah.
There's also no rule against the so like the Green Berets have to wear a complete uniform, like tops and bottoms, like either tiger stripe or woodland. And so like if they ever got eliminated, the Soviets could like recognize them as like Green Berets because that's a big thing that's outstanding for them. But there's no rule to say that the Green Berets can't put on a poncho and just assimilate into the local population, like put their gun down, put on a poncho
like some
and a little hat
shit.
and just like hide amongst the population.
Dude.
There's already been a couple guys who are interested in like basically doing that and hanging out at the bar for a good portion of the experience, collecting intel and like information about where the insurgents are, where the Soviets, what's going on. So there's room for all kinds of shenanigans. Like it's really what the experience is, what you make it.
See, guys, we can do beans and be dude, I'm in.
I don't know, man. This one sounded more and more like something I kind of
we need to go to. Like PTO starts Monday for that weekend or Friday.
Just play the fucking civilian role and
that
bullshit
would be
with people
cool, dude.
And just.
Are
there any weapons rules? So like I know Milsim West has weapons rules. What are your guys doing for that?
So our lead game design is our lead game designer probably has a better answer to that. But as far as my understanding, as far as on those current rules, we are allowing the civilians to open carry with a permit. So they just go through their village administrator, their village leader, or through the Soviets and, pay a couple Krabistani dollars for their open carry permit. And they can pretty much open carry with the understanding that if like they blast ass, they can their open carry permit can be revoked and they'll have to leave their gats in their tent until they, we do the new life rule. So like, you got to give the person the benefit of the doubt. So like they got eliminated, they lose their card because it'll be on their person. And, beyond that, if they get stopped at a checkpoint and they're open carrying without the permit, like that's like we've got detainment. We're doing the Milsim West style of no handcuffs because those are kind of sketchy. It's Chinese finger traps,
Hell yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, just
Damn it.
I'm not, dude. So okay, no, I'm gonna take this too far as a civilian role. Like, you owe me for my beans, cuz, and just like gas somebody down.
There
He's
is
an
there
open
is
carry.
definitely
That doesn't mean
intervillage
there's no
like
concealed carry.
there's intervillage violence too. Like that's totally
Yes,
like
dude.
the prerogative of the civilians is like the bullet points on like the op ord that they get basically is like ensure your village is in a superior position than the other villages is one of them. So like there can
Yes.
be like, you know, it's a true
This
sandbox.
is the rich town, bitch. Get your homeless ass out of
Right.
here. Like,
Yeah, or you can have culture wars. Like there's some players who are talking about how man, I heard that other village they don't think hot dogs are sandwiches. Like but they're stupid. They're heathens because hot dogs are fully sandwiches. And we've got other players
Right.
who are like those motherfuckers think hot dogs are sandwiches and that's not okay. Let's carry
now
out
we
an
need to
attack.
kill him.
Yeah.
We need to kill him. Dude, I'm fucking in, dude.
Right.
Like 100% about it. My nerd level is going, I need to buy a
Right.
ticket.
I'm just hearing like he's like, hey man, you can buy a permit, you can open carry, but concealed carry is what the insurgents do.
Dude, right.
Like walking around all day with your beans and your Glock.
Dude, I do that already. So I'm in. Like, bro,
My boy Teddy has already started work on a suicide vest where it takes like a string of like 6 Enola Gays and tie them all together with fishing wire. And
Yes.
I'm in.
Somebody needs to get the claymores
Yes.
and put one on their back and one on their front.
And just
And then just fill it with the baby powder because
Yeah.
they have, you could do the baby powder and
And
fucking
poof.
run up and just double click your clackers, clack, clack, and then
And then I'm the guy that doesn't set him off, and you're like, no! It's just like, dude, so this is going to be wild. This is going to be future setting experience.
yeah,
I already see this being amazing. The last time I felt this confident about an event was Radio Silence, and we saw what that turned into for the East Coast.
super awesome.
It was amazing. So I am confident that this is going to be amazing.
Yes, 100%.
dope, that's awesome to hear. I'm hopeful we're on the right track. And one of the things that's got me excited is that there's a gaggle of players who are coming out to play Soviets, right? And
Right.
we don't say you have to have like authentic kit or like period kit necessarily. Like just make sure your camis are right and they're before the year, like, and you're good. But these guys are coming down about 10 strong in like full Soviet Afghan uniforms, and Homeboy bought like a 1985 set of Soviet night vision that has the giant infrared lamp on the top of the helmet.
Nice.
And he's bringing it out, and he's already got the batteries for it, and he's got it all set up. And he's
Is
talking
that
about it
even
with his
legal?
friend
Like right now? Is that even legal to own? Is that like, that is sick. See,
Just
people?
Turns it on as straight radiation.
Just straight, cancer. Here, bud. No, but see, that's the level. If that is just like a piece of the level I can be involved in,
Right.
this is definitely something we need to think
Right.
about for real.
and it's gonna be May, so it's not gonna be cold.
Right. Yeah.
Decent
Highly
weather.
encourage you guys to look into it for sure. I know it's short notice, so like if you can't make it, that's totally cool. Like it's totally whatever you guys want to do.
Neat.
But,
I'm like 75%. Like,
Oh, I will just come.
yeah,
I'm just gonna show up and be like, "Remember you were on my show? Yeah, hi guys." Like, no, dude, for real though, that sounds amazing. People, you need to look into this shit because if you can be a part of it now, and you can build your character, if
Right.
possible, over the next few years, and you become a piece of the puzzle in their future
Right.
games. See,
Right.
it's all if it's not for us.
If you think that's not true, I challenge you to go look at
Yes.
Grimnir Tactical's Radio Silence and see how many people they have that come back after
Years.
year after year, game
Yes.
after game, because they're building their character with inside the story.
And the people are allowing them to do that.
Yeah.
The event holders are allowing that to happen, and this is now. See, I'm excited. So
yeah, for sure. We
Yes.
call that emergent gameplay, I think is the term, where it's like, give the tools to the players to create the story and the characters and the universe that they want, and then just keep it consistent and carry forward the things that the players do in one game to the next one, so that they feel like the world is this real micronation to Krabistan, some shitty third world country where everyone does weird stuff and has a bean addiction.
Hell yeah.
Definitely a guy with a bean addiction. So,
last thing I'll kind of plug, if it's cool, is if people want to come out to D-Day but don't want to do a full Milsim, Isaac runs first Saturday operations. So yeah, like the first Saturday of every month, you can pretty much bet that there's an open play at D-Day. So if you want to come out and camp or just play a day, sometimes they're 2-dayers, sometimes they're night games. You just kind of got to check the event on the Facebook page. But totally encourage people to come out, and that's also a really good way to like network with us and like just hang out with the staff and the boys. So highly
and get a vibe. Get a vibe of what to expect. That's genius. Yeah. Get you a weekend play and watch their, first Saturdays or when they can or whatever, especially the storm seasons are coming and stuff like that. So, dude, that's awesome. For the guys who can, fucking do a couple locals before you make the commitment to a full-on situation, man.
Yeah, and the tickets are like $25. So it's like,
not bad. Cake money. I'll buy you one. Just go. Right? So I'll buy your ticket. You go play. 100%.
And though Isaac wasn't able to make it on tonight, like he's still, at the park, he was there late. He would also love to be on the show sometime if you guys would be interested in having him as either extension of Mudcrab, or if you wanted to pick his brain about the plans for D-Day Park. As a director, he would be, he would definitely have a more complete picture than I could ever explain about, what his visions are for, running the facility moving forward. But he wanted me to tell you guys that he sends his regards and wishes that he could have made it on tonight. But, sometimes stuff happens.
Yeah,
it's real life, dog. Dude, Trust me.
I was going to say, here we are talking about airsoft, and it's not as serious as the real thing that's going on. So 100%. We understand it's there's been plenty of times where Nasty hasn't been able to make it because he just sucks.
Well, yeah. But no, of course we'll have him on. We'll even, dude, I want all of you on. I want all of your brains to be picked. I want all the questions. And of course I want to talk to the guy and his people who run it, dude.
Even if it's like an after action for Krabistan or something, I think that'd be really cool to find out how it goes if we don't get to attend. I'm hoping we do, though.
Even if we do,
the more it's sounding like it's going to be fun.
Dude, it's going to be lit. And please, shout out to Isaac for keeping the progression going for future life at D-Day Adventure Park.
100%.
And you guys and the staff, much love. I don't know if it means much, but from me, and I know from you, much love to everybody at Mudcrab Milsim for everything you do and for what you're going to continue doing. Because to me, that's awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
So
yeah, thanks guys. I'm going to send this out to all the boys, and they're going to listen to it and they're going to cry.
Because it's real, man. It's life, and for people to match your level of love for a thing that you do, it hits deeper than anything, man. So I vibe on your emotional level, man. Trust me, because when this is all said and over with and I go do my thing, I'm gonna be over here like, oh my god,
it was so cool.
Yeah, man. Dude, I could have hugged this motherfucker, dude. Like,
well, I mean, I do have a special announcement though that you don't even know about.
What the fuck?
So
you're pregnant.
No, God, I would fucking.
This would be a one-man show.
Last episode.
This would be the last.
No. So if you are a Task Force Patreon member, we will be doing a Patreon only giveaway on April 30th. So stay tuned for more on that. But we're doing Patreon only giveaway. So this is just a thank you to you guys who are Patreon members. And I don't mean like a swag pack either. I mean like we're working with our show sponsor. Of course, we've only got one real sponsor, and that is True Aim, which if you guys are out in NorCal and you are wanting to find a local field that changes things up and has kind of the same vibe that this group right here does, as well with the Mudcrab guys, they have kind of the same vision and the same style of wanting to improve and make things better and make it more interesting and bring that fun and love of it back, then you need to go check out True Aim up in North California, and hit up our boy Caber and tell him that, Task Force sent you. But he actually runs, of course, the True Aim Field shop, and so he's got stuff, and he's going to provide for the giveaway, and we will get something together to give away on our end as well, which I have not quite decided what it will be yet.
I'm glad it's all your decision.
Like I said, it'll be our decision, which when I say I haven't decided, I mean we. But I wanted to let everyone know that there will be a Patreon-only giveaway on April 30th, which is a Saturday, because we'll announce the winner live on the show, and hopefully that winner will be watching, and hopefully that winner can hop on the show and share their probably verbal excitement with us at that time. So April 30th, Patreon-only giveaway. That's about as much as I know right now.
That's the most I know of right now. So obviously,
if you're looking for anything to add a little spice to that, I'm pretty sure we'll have our Wargame Oklahoma ticket infrastructure in place by then. So you might get a couple comps slid your way to sweeten the deal for your Patreon.
There we go.
Hey, you know what? Shout out, motherfucker. Right. Like, dude, you know what? It keeps getting better from these guys, man. Right. Like, they want the love to be spread, just like we all do. So, shout out to Caber. Shout out to the Mudcrab Milsim guys. Yes. Shout out to everything we love and adore with these plastic and metal fucking guns.
Shout out to everyone watching, live or not live.
Right. We love you.
We love you guys. And, of course, we will see you guys next.
And thank you, Mudcrab Milsim, for being on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Dude.
Saturday.
We'll see you next Saturday, dude.
We love you guys.